Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be taking a look at this right here. This is the Spider-Man No Way Home 3-pack from Marvel Legends. I've been waiting on this thing for a long time. I pre-ordered this back in July of 2022. It is now mid-June 2023, so we're talking almost a full year later. I finally have it, and I'm very excited because I've been wanting a modern update for the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man for a very, very long time, as has many of you. And now we are finally getting it. Let's just hope they're actually good. But we've got the box here. Everything looks good. You got artwork on the side, pictures on the back, show you the figures, show you your accessories. Pretty simple, pretty plain, but decent, at least for plastic-free packaging, which I do not like, as most of you out there don't like it either, but it's what we have, and this packaging is at least decent for what it is. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this guy open and see what we've got inside. Alright, here we are. We have them out of the package, and we'll talk about accessories. I'm not going to go through showing them all because they're Spider-Man figures. They come with the same accessories you've seen 100 times at this point. They each come with 3 sets of hands: fisted hands, wall-crawling hands, and thwip hands, and they each come with this same web effect, web line that we've seen 100 times. And that is all they come with. So that's really all you need to know about that. Let's look at the figures themselves first. We'll start with our MCU Spider-Man, and he is markedly better. He really is. I will show you some comparisons with the other figure a little bit later, but one of the main things, obviously, is he has the web lines actually drawn in and painted, which is a very, very nice upgrade. As I will do some comparisons, you'll see there is some differences here. They did use what appears to be a new mold on some aspects of the figure, at least compared to the one I have. But I don't remember how many times this suit has been released, so maybe it is the same as one of the other releases, but it is certainly different from the one that I have, which I believe is from Infinity War, if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure because they've released so many Spider-Man figures. It's hard to be sure, but for the differences between this one and the one that I already have, there are some significant differences. Legs are different, arms are different, and then of course the web lines themselves. And it's a nice figure, but you've seen this one before. You know, there's not really much to talk about here, and let's be honest, that's not the reason people are buying this figure. It is for these two right here. So first we'll look at the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which I think is almost perfect. It is a very good figure. It is done very, very well. Articulation is great. They don't have any of them articulated toes, so if that's something you require in a Spider-Man figure, that might be a deal breaker for you, but they are pinless and they have all the other standard articulation you would expect. We do have the dumbbell joint up top and then the lower reversed ab crunch here, so you do get lots of movement there. And then, of course, you get that ab crunch as well. So, and that goes for both of these figures right here, the Tobey and the Andrew. So, articulation's there, butterfly joints, knees, thighs, bicep swivels, elbows, all that stuff. It's all pretty standard stuff for a Spider-Man figure outside of the toe articulation. So let's look at the figure itself, and he looks really, really good, in my opinion, except for one thing, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. The colors are great. I love the brighter blues and brighter reds. The web lines are painted beautifully. I went through to check just to make sure there weren't any mess-ups on the web lines and the paint. Mine looks great. Your mileage may vary. It is Hasbro after all. The logo on the front looks fantastic. Logo on the back looks great. They did a really, really solid job here, and very hard to see on video, but there's even kind of a pearlescence to the lenses on the eyes on both this one and the Andrew Garfield one that are not present on the MCU version, but it just looks really, really nice and really well done. And I won't be able to do this in a comparison because I got rid of the figure, but I did have the SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and I did not like that figure. I got rid of it. And honestly, I'm glad I did, because I think this is a better looking figure. It doesn't have the articulation of an SH Figuarts, that is for sure, but I think in general it's a much better looking figure and still has really, really good articulation for a Spider-Man figure, and I absolutely love it, and I think they did a fantastic job, even though it is not perfect. But let me say the one thing about this figure that I think should have been done differently, and that is the upper thighs. For some reason, they are just round and doughy, and actually the tops of the thighs are larger than the bottoms of the thighs, just in how they kind of bump out here, and they actually kind of bump out away from the body, which looks very odd. I think they should have either gone with skinnier legs, because Tobey Maguire is not a big guy. Okay, he certainly isn't fat, while he is not as muscular as he used to be in No Way Home from when he was in the original Spider-Man trilogy. He's not out of shape or overweight, and this makes his thighs look a little fat. I'm not the biggest fan of that look. If they had gone with either skinnier or more muscular thighs, I think it would have looked much better. But the figure overall, and I get that's a design choice, the figure overall is done very, very well. Paint, sculpt, articulation are all on point, and I really, really like this figure. And again, I like it better than the SH Figuarts. And now we will talk about what is easily the best figure in the 3-pack. And I think most people who've taken a look at this will absolutely agree, and that, of course, is the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It is superbly done. Excellent in just about every way. In fact, I have absolutely no complaints on this one whatsoever. The webbing is perfect. The reds, the blues, the texture on the suit, the pearlescent look in the eyes, the head sculpt. Again, articulation is identical to this one here. So basically everything you would expect from a Spider-Man figure outside of toe articulation, and it is just beautifully done. Okay, just absolutely beautifully done. The spider on the front looks amazing. Spider logo on the back looks amazing. And that is, of course, the only way you should describe this figure is amazing. Again, standard pinless joints, same bicep swivels, knees, elbows, biceps, double jointed, or excuse me, double balled head movement there. Butterfly joints. You've got the dumbbell joint here up at the top, reverse ab crunch. Everything on it is just done exceptionally well, and it looks absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I think they did a fantastic job. So sculpt, paint, articulation on all these three is damn near perfect, again, except for Tobey's upper thighs, which I really wish they would have done something different there. If you look at the upper thighs on these two here, you notice they kind of cinch up as they come up into the crotch area. These do not, and it just kind of makes them look a little bit off. Again, let me reiterate, I still love the figure. I still think it is much better than the SH Figuarts was. And I love SH figures. I have quite a few of them. But I did not like that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This thing I absolutely love. Just think they made a poor decision in the design of these thighs. I get what they were going with, but I think they should have went a different way. Either way, I love all three of these figures. Obviously, again, this one is hands down the best. This is a fantastic, amazing Spider-Man. Easily the best out of the bunch. You know, one could say worth buying the whole 3-pack just for him because it is so well done, but that, of course, is up to you. So let's go ahead, do some comparisons, see how these guys stack up, and we'll go from there. All right, so first up, we're going to look at the MCU Spider-Man here, and I was wrong. I do actually have both of these, and these two right here share the exact same sculpt and most of the same paint job as far as overall scheme. I was originally thinking of these two being compared where their arms are different sculpts and their legs are different sculpts, but it is in fact the same as this one right here. The biggest difference obviously is the web lines, and then of course the fact that you can see from the coloring here, this suit here is kind of a dark gray. It's not blue at all, it's red and dark gray. Whereas this one here is red and blue, which looks much better. Now, I think the best blue coloring out of all of these is going to be this one here from the Infinity War movie, where it has more of a kind of a shininess to it, almost like the suit is like it's supposed to be, made out of nanites and more metallic looking. But I still think this is very, very well done and a definite upgrade from this one here, just in the fact that you get the better coloring and you get the web lines. So I think they did a pretty good job there. But we'll take these two down real quick and compare them to my two favorite Spider-Man figures, and that's going to be these two right here. And of course on the left we've got my Mafex Spider-Man. I can't remember which one this is, 185, or I can't remember what the number of it is. Absolutely, hands down, love it. Best Spider-Man figure that's out there. If you can only have one, this is the one it should be. And then of course the new Hasbro Marvel Legends here on the right, which of course is the animated look. I think these are hands down the best two Spider-Man figures that exist currently right now. You may disagree, that's fine, but these are my two personal favorites. And you can see, being that this is the MCU Spider-Man, he is shorter than them, as he should be, because Tom Holland is not a tall dude, and he does portray a rather short version of Spider-Man, and I think it makes sense that he stands there that low compared to these two. But either way, if you got a Spider-Man shelf, this is still all going to look great together. Alright, now I don't have another Tobey Spider-Man to do the comparison with at the moment because it's just not here. I do have one of the original Spider-Man, I think it's Spider-Man 2, if I remember correctly, figures. I don't even remember which one it is. I just don't have it on me right now, so I can't do the comparison. So we will look again at my two favorite Spider-Man figures, of course, the Mafex and the animated series Spider-Man from, Marvel Legends. And again, he's right at the same height as these two. Looks fantastic, looks amazing. Again, other than his thighs, which I think just they should have gone a different route with them, it's still a fantastic looking figure as far as I'm concerned. And last but certainly not least, of course, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man here. Got to do the comparison with these two amazing, fantastic Spider-Man figures. And he looks just perfect between these two. He really absolutely does. He's just a hair taller than these two. But I think that works. That works for an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. He is a little bit taller, and he should be a taller figure, even if it is just slightly. And of course, we are comparing movie to comic book figures, which comic book figures usually tend to be a little bigger when it comes to the character designs. So the fact that he's still a little bit taller than them absolutely 100% works. But the most important comparison for this figure right here is not these two Spider-Man, but in fact, it is these two Spider-Man right here. Of course, we have Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man from the first movie and from the second movie. And of course, this costume here is the one he wore in No Way Home. How does this one compare to these two older figures? Of course, it looks fantastic. It looks way better than either of these two figures. Look, I love these two figures. They are very pricey if you look to get these on the aftermarket, but I absolutely love them for what they are. They are smaller and more slight build figures. They're older. We've got old school ball joints here. The hips on this guy looks absolutely ridiculous, kind of like the old school pizza Spider-Man, but only somehow a little bit worse, with a really skinny upper torso on both of them. Just even too skinny for Andrew Garfield. Horribly ugly butterfly joints on this one here. But I still love these two figures deeply, but there is no comparison here whatsoever. This one here in the middle, this new Amazing Spider-Man, is by far a very, very, very superior figure to either of these two, and I'm very happy to have him in my collection. Alright, so now we got to talk about price. This thing runs $100, okay? That is retail on this thing, especially once you pay shipping and tax and all that kind of stuff, because you're not getting these in stores right now. It's $100, and that's if you can find it at retail and don't have to go to the secondary market to find it, where it will be most assuredly much more expensive, probably closer to $150. But let's talk about retail price here. $100. The question, of course, being, is it worth it? And that answer is, for me, yes, but maybe not for you. It really just kind of depends on how much you really want a modern, updated Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man figure. That's basically what it boils down to, because while this MCU Peter Parker is a nice upgrade from the last one we got, had they just re-released it like this in a single pack, I wouldn't have bought it. Even though it does have the web lines painted, even though it does have better coloring, I wouldn't have bought it. Okay, I would have kept the one I had. I bought this 3-pack for these two right here. That's what it boils down to, and for me, that was worth it. Even though I have an older Toby figure, even though I have both previous, Andrew Garfield figures, I want the new ones. I want the better articulated, the more updated, the better proportioned, better sculpted, better painted figures. That's what I wanted. And you got to look at prices on these older figures. The old Toby figures, the old Andrew figures. These things range $50 and up on the secondary market, even loose out of the package sometimes for some of these figures, like the ones I showed. And so if you're willing to pay $50 a piece for those, and even if you look at it this as a bonus figure that you didn't care about, is it worth $50 a piece for these two figures? To me, it was. To you, it might not be. I don't know. But for me, it certainly was. I wanted these two figures, and I feel like I got a good deal on them. 3-pack, $100, $33 a piece. You are paying the Spider-Man tax that we always get with Marvel Legends, so $33 a piece for Spider-Man figures. Again, wouldn't have paid $33 for this, but I certainly would have paid $33 for each of these. And if you just consider this a bonus figure, I think it works out well. So I do think it is worth it, and hopefully you have yours pre-ordered and won't have to search for this on the secondary market, because I guarantee you on the secondary market you will be paying anywhere from $50 to $70 for each of these two figures, at least for the time being. Of course, unless we get a new release somewhere down the line, and then you will see prices drop. But up until that point, if you have not pre-ordered this, these figures are going to be pricey to come by. So I say if you can get it for the 100, it is definitely worth it. But that is it, guys. That is where I fall on this. And I got to say, I love these figures. I think they did an amazing job. Again, still got problems with these thighs over here on Toby, but all in all, I'm very, very happy with these figures. They look fantastic, and I'm very glad to have them in my collection. But I would love to hear what you guys say in the comment section down below. Let me know, do you have these figures? Do you want these figures? If you've got them, first of all, how much did you pay for them? Did you get them on the secondary market? And second, what do you think of these figures individually and as a 3-pack? I would love to hear from you guys down below. So that is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.